my lovelies. Future Miss Vile here. After several hours of sifting through my footage and piecing it all together to make some semblance of a video, I realized that I didn't do a very good job of explaining what this video was and what it meant and what it represented. I came across the hashtag Dear Me videos on YouTube and thought, why the fuck not? It's perfect. I have the opportunity to make jokes about my childhood and drinking myself silly. And the more I got to thinking about everything, the more I realized that it's not funny. It became very difficult to make jokes about it because it's not funny. I mean, I tend to make jokes about my life. I get it. The whole punchline of my life is that my life is a joke. I get it. But I couldn't do that. And originally I wanted to put this at the end of the video to make a better explanation, but I think it's good to put it at the beginning of the video so that what comes after this isn't so jarring to people who are expecting something different, especially if you're a family member or a really close friend who I might poke fun of in this video. This isn't for you. This is for me. I'm doing this for me, not for your image. I'm not here to preserve that little perfect house that you've built for yourself. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not apologizing. The last thing that I really wanted to say is to you, whoever you are. Always keep fighting. It'll be okay. People will tell you that everything will get better, and deep down, logically, you'll know it'll get better, but you won't feel like it. You won't see it. You won't see that light at the end of the tunnel, and you'll be confused. You won't understand why you're not having a good time. You won't understand why you can't get out of bed. You won't get it. And it's okay. You're not alone. There are other people who feel the way you do. Everything is great. Everything's fine. Just take a deep breath and do what you need to do for you. Even if that means coming out of the closet to your hyper-religious parents. If that means leaving an abusive spouse. If that means severing ties with a best friend who verbally abuses you and takes advantage of your kindness. Do what you need to do for you. It's okay. It'll be fine. Just keep fighting. Push through it. If you have to pull yourself across that finish line kicking and screaming, you can do it. So, love you. I will see you eventually. I guess. Maybe. I'm not very good at verbally expressing myself if that's not blatantly obvious. See you guys. April of 1995, you are going to have nightmares. You are going to be convinced that there is a giant Godzilla monster terrorizing Oklahoma. You will be told that no, it was actually a deluded domestic terrorist named Timothy McVeigh who filled a Ryder truck full of fertilizer and gasoline. You won't believe them because the concept that one human being can cause that kind of damage just baffles you. Also, the building looks like a giant Godzilla monster took a big fucking bite out of the building. Oh, and Timothy McVeigh will ruin mint chocolate chip ice cream for you forever. Because that little fuck nugget ordered it as his last meal. So now every time you take a bite out of it, you picture giant Godzilla monsters and dead babies being pulled out of the rubble. The Survivor's Guild is strong with this one. Matahari. Absinthe Bohemium. Boop boop. We're gonna start this video off great. Boop. It's glowing. Authentic grand wormwood and salvia. If I turn into Miley Cyrus at the end of this video, I apologize. Where was I? What was I saying? Oh. Your first suicide attempt will happen about a year later because for some reason you think that that level of rebellion will keep daddy from hitting mommy. You're going to tie a makeshift noose out of an ace bandage and like wrap it around that little bar that's in your closet, and about halfway through you're going to freak out and you're going to panic because the knot's tighten and you can't get out of it. Mom will eventually cut you down and you'll never mention it again. Ever. It's like it never happened. A little later, Mom is going to pull you and Davy aside and tell you that she and your dad are getting a divorce. And at first you're going to be upset. But then the realization that, oh, that means that Mommy and Daddy aren't going to fight anymore, and all of your troubles are going to fade away, and you're going to sit on the couch and watch Hey Arnold and Angry Beavers and a Kablam marathon. Dad will disappear for a while. It doesn't mean that he's forgotten about you. And Mom is going to bring a new guy into the house, and he is not there to replace your dad. Dad is just sick and will be gone for a while. So don't be too upset whenever you catch Mom and this new guy rolling around on the waterbed. Yeah, I'm going to go back to repressing that. None of that was your fault or your responsibility. You are 8 years old. Slow your roll, kiddo. In daycare, you are going to insist that you're a boy. Your teachers are going to try and correct you and will castigate any of the other kids who try to encourage you. Just kick him in the shins, because being gender fluid is a thing. It doesn't make you weird. The sooner you cast off this black and white social binary, the sooner you can learn to love yourself. Oh, and while we're at it, disregard any family member who pulls you aside and says, oh, well, you're a tomboy now, but you'll eventually learn to like dresses and little boys. Every little girl goes through this phase. They're wrong. But they don't need to know that. Just smile and nod your head in agreement, because sometimes that's a lot easier than trying to explain it. In fact, you'll just save yourself a lot of trouble by just smiling and nodding. You'll get used to it. Gender identity and gender expression are two different things. Just because you prefer to dress like a girl does not invalidate your gender identity. If someone tries to tell you otherwise, kick him in the shins. You do not need a boyfriend to feel like a complete person. Stop reading all of those teen romance novels and shut the fuck up. Demisexuality is a thing. The reason you don't feel connected to the person you rush into the relationship with is because you need to give yourself time to get to know them. Finding someone attractive does not mean you are sexually attracted to that person. You'll learn that when you're older, and you'll try and convince your baby sister of that fact, and you're just wasting your time. Because you feel that you have to find your soulmate to feel complete, you will dive headfirst into numerous relationships. During each of them, you are going to feel cold and distant and shallow, and you are going to start to question your sexual identity. Dating a boy doesn't change your sexual orientation. No one is going to be there to guide you or to reassure you that something about you isn't broken. In fact, you're going to get the opposite. It isn't like your novels or in those romance movies you watch with mom. There is no such thing as love at first sight for you. That's okay. That doesn't make you abnormal. That makes you patient. Mom will even go as far as to tell you that you aren't as attracted to women as you are men because she, without saying it directly, thinks it's a phase. Really, the only reason that you haven't dived headfirst into a relationship with a woman is because you fear being mocked. You fear being bullied for bullshit. You're gonna be bullied, and people are gonna make fun of you for not being able to make up your mind about what you like, because apparently that's something that you have to do. Because somehow loving all genders is wrong. People will bully you and call you a slut. But don't worry. Eventually, those people will grow up and become your coworkers or the parents of your students. They will approach you one day and they will apologize. Be careful what you write in your diary. Mom will find it. And yes, she will read it. Mom will suggest that you get a mental health assessment and therapy at around 13. Dad will insist upon it because he's convinced that you are just like him. Miss Norma Jean Bethel is going to belittle you, call you a liar, and try and convince you that you don't actually have suicidal thoughts or hallucinations. She'll say that you need closure despite the fact that you have a pretty good relationship with your parents. I mean, you don't get along with your stepdad right now, but that's because he's a jerk to your autistic younger brother. Mostly because he doesn't know how to handle him or deal with him or talk to him. Don't worry, he'll grow into it. She is going to convince herself that you can be cleanly defined out of a fucking textbook. She'll tell you that the reason you don't like your stepdad is because you never got the proper closure you needed from your dad. Despite the fact that that hasn't been an issue for years. She will outright refuse to listen to you when you tell her she's wrong. Eventually, you submit to the idea and you start bottling everything up. That was lame. Poison. You will grow up thinking nothing is wrong with you, and you will constantly fall on your face. No one has taught you to deal with these very real issues. No one will help you. Not really. They will tell you, oh, it's just a phase, or oh, you'll grow out of it. But you won't. That's okay. You'll be confused. Very confused. You'll know that something is wrong, but no one else can see it. And you'll grow up to be really bitter because of it. So bitter that you will lose all of your friends. You will act out and call out for help, but no one will listen. But hey, it's high school. Nobody likes a whiner. You'll go off to college and finally, for the first time in a very long time, feel like something. You'll even start to feel good about yourself. But even there, you're a total fuck up. Your roommate will eventually grow to hate you, and honestly, she has every right to. You'll you'll lose friends, you'll gain some. You'll learn things from professors you like and eventually even learn very valuable things from professors you hate. There will come a day though that something in your brain just doesn't click. You'll find yourself unable to get out of bed in the morning. And you'll start giving everybody the excuse that you have a headache or that you ate something maybe you shouldn't have. And you convince yourself that maybe you're just sick. Maybe you just have a cold. Maybe you have a sinus infection. Maybe, maybe you're dehydrated. You don't know. But you just feel sick all the time and tired all the time and weak all the time. And the things that once gave you joy and made you happy, made you feel validated in your own existence just doesn't work anymore. At all. Your teachers will notice that you're not there, but they won't say anything. They'll just call you a slacker. They'll say you're being lazy, despite the fact that they're your favorite classes and they're your favorite teachers, and they know that. They should know that. But they say this all the time. They see good students slack off and they assume you're one of them. Other students will ignore you and call you a failure behind your back and leave you to your own devices. All of that pressure that you've been bottling up will eventually pop its cork. You're going to have a fight over some trivial bullshit with your grandmother that eventually results in her saying some very hateful things and you saying some very hateful things and her going so far as to say that you're no longer her granddaughter. No, you've really fucked up now. Even your own family thinks you're a waste of space. You will have your best friend drive you back to the dorm due to a sudden headache, and you're gonna walk in, lock the door, and down an entire box of Benadryl tablets and slit your wrist. Just for good measure. Your body is going to completely reject it, and you're going to make a big ol' mess on the bathroom floor. And at the point that you realize that maybe that's not what you want to do, you'll take a deep breath, you'll clean up your mistake, and you're going to knock on the door to your RA, and he's going to help you. And Michael is the sweetest guy you'll probably ever meet while you're at college. He realizes what's going on. He happily invites you into his dorm, and you guys talk video games, and you watch him play Bayonetta, and you think it's the coolest thing. And he is supportive and loving and wonderful, and you should really thank him. Because if he hadn't been there, if it had been anybody else, you wouldn't be sitting here making this video, drinking absinthe, and making an ass out of yourself on the internet. Despite his help, though, you're still gonna feel this sort of hollowness. And everybody is gonna surround you with love and support, and they're gonna shower you in compliments, but you're still gonna have a really hard time getting out of bed. You're still going to vomit every time you see your reflection in the bathroom mirror. You are still going to fail your classes, and you're still going to lose a lot of friends. You're going to find yourself on the third floor studio balcony, right outside the painting studio, a lot.
You're going to constantly be looking down at the sidewalk below, and the only thing that's going to stop you is the fact that you don't want to inconvenience the security guards with your mess. You will eventually drop out. You're going to leave behind that artist commune in Overton Park, and you're going to come home to that overwhelmingly vast Oklahoma sky that threatens to swallow you whole as you cross the border. And also the giant Godzilla monster that is totally still waiting in the bushes. You will still find it hard to get out of bed in the morning. You're gonna keep telling everybody and telling yourself that you'll eventually look for a job, but you won't. You'll lie about it to make everybody else around you feel better and make you feel like you're actually doing something productive, when in reality you're just lying in bed doing nothing. You won't even open your sketchbook. It'll just sit there collecting dust. You'll put on a happy face, reassure everybody, your family and your friends, that everything's okay and you're home now, everything's fine, but you're lying, and they'll know you're lying. Deep down, you're still gonna feel like some worthless tramp who failed at succeeding anything. Despite all of that, there will come a day that you will wipe the dust off of your sketchbooks and you'll peruse them and realize that it wasn't so bad. And you'll think, hey, this is okay. I can improve on this. I can make this better. And you'll pick up a paintbrush and you'll start painting and you'll do things again and you'll feel better about yourself and you'll look back on everything that you've done, everything you've said, every friend you've lost, every friend you've gained, every mistake you've made, and you'll learn from them. You'll realize why those obstacles were put there in the first place, and you'll feel better about it. You will still have your very, very high ups and your very, very low downs. That's just how your brain works. You're 25. I'm pretty sure you're not going to outgrow it, despite what the doctors were trying to tell you back when you were 13. I know that my younger self is never going to see this. I mean, maybe in some parallel universe. Maybe. This is mostly a testament to anybody watching who has felt like they weren't enough or feels like they should just give up. I'm not going to say it'll get better. That's bullshit. It doesn't get better for everyone. And pulling somebody aside and, invalidating their feelings by going, oh, you'll grow out of it, it'll get better. Not necessarily. That's the reality of it. I mean, for everybody around you, it'll seem like things are getting better, but for you, it just doesn't. And that's okay. You just need to know and trust me that there will be someone willing to pull you out of that hole. It'll probably be years and years down the line, but there will be someone. The population of this planet is vast. There is got to be one person willing to help and willing to listen, legitimately listen. It's not all bad. It'll seem all bad, but it's not. And there are things to learn from. It'll all pass. It'll all dissolve and go away. You'll pop your cork, and the things that you've been bottling up since you were a kid will fade. and will settle, and you'll be able to look at it and be grateful for a lot of it in a really bizarre, kind of fucked up way. I don't really have much else to say to younger me other than except that don't worry, Dragon Ball Z is ended, GT doesn't exist, and Dragon Ball Super is awesome. What more do you need to know? I'm gonna finish this glass and process this video. Let's do that. My hope is that someone amongst my lovelies has taken some modicum of wisdom from anything that I've said. And I hope it helps somebody. I hope you can realize that you're not the only one. There are other people out there who will listen and who will understand. The dust will eventually settle, and it will be fine. That's basically all I have to say. I'm not very good at ending videos. Cheers.
Everybody should do in their lifetime sometime two things. One is to consider death, to observe skulls and skeletons, and to wonder what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Never. That is a very gloomy thing for contemplation, but it's like manure. Just as manure fertilizes the plants and so on, so the contemplation of death and the acceptance of death is very highly generative of creative life. You get wonderful things out of that.